So, it's the end of yet another week, and here on this channel, that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend, I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week, there has been so much going down between enticing matchups between top teams, rumors of potential moves coming out, and a ton of other intriguing storylines are there to follow, so of course, we have plenty to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Prize Picks. As the new NBA season continues on, Prize Picks is the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy to stay engaged on all of the excitement. All you have to do is pick between 2 and 6 players and the over or under on their projections, and you can win up to 20 times your original entry. Choose between points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers made, fantasy points, and more, plus you can even make mixed sports entries, so if you happen to be a football fan, baseball fan, soccer fan, or anything else, Prize Picks has you covered. When you play at Prize Picks, you're also not competing against anyone else, it's simply you versus the projections available. As for the picks that I'm looking at making for tonight's slate of games, I'm thinking of going with Anthony Simons to score over 19.5 points, Reggie Bullock to score under 7.5 points, and Jabari Smith to get at least 1 steal. By going down to the link in the description of this video and using promo code REFERENCE when you sign up, you also get a deposit match bonus of up to $100. Once again, thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. The first take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Tyler, and he says that Rudy Gobert is not the problem in Minnesota and that everyone else around him causes the issues because of their inability to defend, which makes Gobert's life tougher. The discussions surrounding the Timberwolves have definitely soured lately, and honestly there's good reason for it, since they've been one of the most disappointing teams in the league this year. They went all in this past offseason, trading away all of their assets to bring in Rudy Gobert, so naturally all eyes were going to be on Gobert there if things went wrong. Well, things are going wrong, so naturally, that's exactly what is happening, but of course, as this take states, the situation is much more nuanced than that. I don't think it's fair by any means to pin all of the blame for their underwhelming production on Gobert, because he is absolutely not the only one contributing to their struggles. However, while he may not be the direct cause of certain things, his presence has forced the team into some awkward lineups. It's been said a million times by now, but Gobert and Towns as a pairing on the court together is clunky, and it forces Towns into defensive matchups that just set him up to fail. Additionally, unlike prior seasons where Gobert dominated impact metrics and advanced analytics, the numbers this season show that the Timberwolves perform 4.9 points better per 100 possessions with Gobert on the bench compared to when he's on the court, so it's not even like their best lineups are ones that feature him. Yes, their perimeter players do need to pick up the slack defending outside, but Gobert is not blameless, and most importantly, the fact that things haven't gone to plan so far makes the organization have to consider whether or not trading other key pieces would fix things, because the amount of options that they can explore to fix their current situation is minimal. The next take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Slots, and he says that the Suns need to blow it up by trading some of their best players and retooling around Devin Booker. The Suns entered this season with turmoil slowly brewing, and before the regular season began, I made an entire video about how they may see some underlying issues come to the surface this season. It's no secret that DeAndre Ayton wanted to leave in free agency this summer and was incredibly frustrated with his standing on the Suns, but the team chose to match his offer and bring him back, so there were some chemistry problems that needed to be resolved, and even to this day, Ayton still doesn't exactly seem thrilled to be there. Add that to the fact that the Suns are currently 500 with 20 wins and 20 losses, and their fall from the top has obviously been a topic of conversation around the league, hence why takes like this pop up. There's two things that I want to say about this. The first is that I do think the Suns' window for contention is quickly closing, and that they are no longer in the top tier of contenders in the West as they have been over the past few seasons. However, on the flip side, things aren't nearly as bad as many make it out to be for two reasons. The first one is that despite having that 500 record, they are still comfortably in the playoff race, sitting in 7th place in the West because so many teams are so close to each other in the standings. One decent win streak can have them shoot up the standings because nobody's really separating themselves from the rest. The second thing is that the Suns have been hurt by injuries a lot lately, as Chris Paul has missed extended time, Devin Booker is currently out for an extended period of time, and role players like Cam Johnson and Cam Payne are injured as well. So ignoring these things that clearly factor into their losing streak isn't fair to them. I don't think the Suns will blow it up, nor should they, because when they're fully healthy, they can still make a run. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Kang, and he says that the Clippers are in trouble and will not meet expectations this season. I've got to admit, I was really high on the Clippers before the season started, and I may have been too optimistic about their situation. Obviously, on paper, their roster looked like it should have been able to stack up against anyone in the NBA, but how guys play together matters a lot more than how they perform individually, and so far the Clippers haven't been able to put together consistently impressive stretches of games. The return of Kawhi Leonard and the addition of John Wall was cause for a lot of optimism because they already had a deep roster with playoff success on their resume, but unfortunately, the reality of those two does not match up to the hype that comes with those two names anymore. Kawhi hasn't been bad this year by any means, but he's someone who used to be in the conversation for the best player in the league, while now he can barely string together 2 games in a row without needing to rest up or sit out the next one because of his nagging injuries. I hoped John Wall would be able to serve more as the playmaker that the team desperately needed, but at this point in his career, he's a backup point guard who provides an occasional spark at best. The team still plays too much hero ball as well, and no matter how much depth and talent you have on a roster, they need to be on the same page to maximize that talent, which the Clippers just have not been. They're 1 game over 500 on the season, which is still good enough for 6th place, because as I said in the last segment, so many teams in the West are so close together record-wise, so they can definitely turn their season around, but just from watching them play, you can tell that they have a lot of things to figure out between now and the end of the season. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.